Hey now, you don't want to start the show for me, John Bird?
No, man, I just wanted to hear the jams. I mean, I can't do the hey nows like you can. Give me a hey now.
I know.
There we go.
If that ever happens again, just start without me.
All right, I'll practice my hey nows.
And assure yourself that I am watching the clock intently.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were, doing number 2, because you usually tell me.
Well, I was.
Okay, don't forget to tell me.
just
Not that I want to know for kinky reasons. I mean, that way I can slip in. I can slip in a little 30-second promo or whatever.
Yeah. Well, if nature calls during the radio show, and it's almost like you kind of feel like a race car driver, like a NASCAR driver. You almost want to train your body to not need to go number 2 between the hours of 10 and 2.
Mm-hmm. But this is healthy though for you.
Why?
You're on a consistent poop basis.
Well, no. This is not consistent. My consistent was previously. What was it previously? I think it was mornings. Was my or was it nighttime? Hell, I can't remember. I did have some consistency, and it was not during the show. And then over the past couple of weeks, I have it spring up on me from time to time. I don't know what's going on. What's going on? Anyway, last hour we covered the lengthy and interesting history of Richard Scrushy. I hope everybody enjoyed that. I just thought that was really cool how all of that ties in together, and the fact that it's just it's just a whole thing. So I encourage y'all to go watch it. It's on A&E. If you got any of the streaming networks, like I use Hulu, but if you've got access to like A&E shows, you can go back and watch it. It's Dark Side of the Ring is what it's called. Noto Roofing, starting you off today. NOTLroofing.com, NotoRoofing.com. You'll hit them up. Free roof inspection. Complimentary roof tune-up. You know what complimentary means? Complimentary means it doesn't cost you anything. It's complimentary. It's because they love you. That's what complimentary means. It's like complimentary breakfast at the hotel. They give it to you for free. It's just part of the package. So get with them. Get that. Doesn't cost you anything. There's no obligation. There's no strings attached. They're just going to inspect it, and if you got issues, they'll let you know. And then you get to decide whether or not you want to use them or you want to get the problems fixed. Maybe, it could be a small problem and you're like, you know what, I really don't want to fool with it right now. They're going to be like, that's okay. Or maybe it's a big problem and you're like, yeah, I actually would like to sleep under the stars when my roof collapses. And that's okay if that's what you want to do. But if you do want to get it fixed, Noto's there for you and they're going to take care of you, especially when you let them know you're part of the Hey Now Nation. 205-848-2299. You thought I forgot, did you? 205-848-2299. Online. NotoRoofing.com. NotoRoofing.com. Hey now to everybody in the YouTube chat. I see you. If you're watching us on YouTube, type in the little chat there. Hey now. Hey now. Hey now. I'm going to make it a point to start shouting out our YouTube people like Trace and Stacy G and Stephanie and everybody else that's up in there. Jerry, the angry trucker, says, JB, I used to be head over heels for the Dixie Carter you were talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know her. She that hot?
Obviously we thought so.
Yeah. You and Jerry?
Me and Jerry.
Walter says Angry Carrie should write a book called Richard Screw She.
I like that. You like.
Wanda says poop to balls. Always informative. Hold nothing back. Thanks for sharing. Poop to balls. What does that mean?
Yeah, we've been talking about that.
Oh, are we talking about balls?
Let's not go there. We did yesterday.
Richard the Cop says Ingle Days, Wendy Richter was WWE Women's Champion. Engle days. What does that mean? Maybe it's a typo. Wendy Richter. Do you remember her?
Yes, I do.
He said she was the women's WWE Women's Champion. When did the Women's Championship come out? That's the question. I don't, when they dropped the belt to China, I guess maybe the belt was already out there. So who knows? Oh, there's Richard the Cop on the line. Let me just ask him what he said. What's up, bud?
The Fabulous Moolah was the WWE Women's Champion for like 25 or 30 years.
That's right. Way back in the day.
It was WWF. And in the 80s, around the time Hulk Hogan and the Rock and Wrestling blew up, I think maybe the first WrestleMania, right, or somewhere around in there, she dropped the belt to Wendy Richter. And that was the first time that title changed hands in years and years and years.
Did she ever have a different name, Wendy Richter, or did she always go by that?
No.
But yeah, the Fabulous Moolah and Mae Young.
Mae Young and Fabulous, and they did bits until they were too old to walk.
I know.
They'd bring them back for stuff.
She got pregnant by Mark Henry that one time.
Yep, sexual chocolate.
Yeah.
Anyway, so you need to get Angry Carrie to write a book called The White Crackers of Walker County.
Yeah, we can do that.
An investigative report.
See how long before he disappears into mist.
Yeah, that's true. Maybe we don't want to go down the Walker County road.
But yeah, Wendy Richter was hot. She was a good-looking thing, man. Of course, now I was 14 years old then, so you know. But that was a good time in wrestling back when they did all of that. You know, back when they did the deal with they started with Roddy Piper. You know, Roddy Piper originally started in Georgia Championship Wrestling when he came out of Seattle as a commentator, and then they started letting the commentator become more opinionated and get more involved, and then he became the Roddy Piper that we all knew.
Yeah.
So, y'all have a good day, boys. I got a loaded body in the car.
All right, buddy. There's Richard the Cop. Yeah, Roddy Piper was wild.
Roddy Piper, man. I loved him. He made a couple of movies. I thought they were pretty good.
Didn't he say, I chew bubble gum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum?
Yeah, he did. That's exactly what he said.
What was that movie?
It was the one about the
thing,
aliens. That they were you had to wear special glasses to see the aliens. It was a pretty good movie for the 80s.
Interesting. All right, so let's get into some of these headlines as we wait on the Robinson roommate testimony, and they're going to play it in court. It seems that they are still allowing the attorneys to, I guess, make their arguments on what should and shouldn't be played. As we stated last hour, they are taking it piece by piece with the exhibits. The Kirk family had asked it for all of it to not just release all of it in bulk to the public. I guess there's some things in there that they don't think should be public, or whatever the reasoning is. I don't know. I haven't been, listening to this court hearing wall to wall. I'm basically hearing what you guys are. And that caused the judge to rule on the fact that they're just going to take it on a case-by-case basis. I assume that the Charlie Kirk family would have no objections to Lance Twiggs' audio, or at least, they're not going to play the whole thing, but they'll at least play a portion of Lance Twiggs. And we haven't heard from that individual at all. We haven't seen any video. We haven't heard any audio. We've only seen some like a handful of pictures, like a couple of pictures that I assume are probably pulled off of social media. And it creates, at least in the public eye, this mysterious figure about Who was this? Was he involved in any way? According to the text messages that they had back and forth, which again were really weird, he didn't know anything about it, and Tyler Robinson purposely kept it from him because he didn't want him involved in it or implicated in any way. Left a note under his keyboard and said, read that, and blah, 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 blah. I wanted to go kill Charlie. I couldn't take his rhetoric anymore against, whatever. Anyway, so we'll see. We'll see if they play that, and if they do, we will bring it straight to you. I want to hop back to yesterday. One of the big things we talked about, Bird, was Donald Trump at NATO and his comments on the relationship with Europe, and also what was going on with Iran with the retaliatory strikes. Well, on the way home, he did a little Q&A with the gaggle of reporters that are on Air Force One, which made it safely home. Apparently, Trump told, or I guess maybe Secret Service told reporters when they got on Air Force One, and remember, they flew the old Air Force One home, told reporters, we're going to cut the Wi-Fi off and keep your windows closed. Like the blinds on the windows. They said, keep them down at all times. Do not open them whatsoever. I think they had the lights off and everything. Like they were flying in the dark of night. And a lot of people speculated that this was because of a significant threat, security threat, that they felt like something could possibly happen and they wanted to sneak out of there without being seen. And when he finally talked to reporters, they were asking him about it, and he says, "I don't know what it was." He's like, "It may have been a threat from Iran." He said, and he said this so many times. He's like, "I'm number one on their kill list, on all their kill lists." He's like, "I'm number one on all of the list." He goes, "And y'all are not number one. Y'all may be number two, but you're not number one like me. But the thing is, if I go, you're going too. So y'all might want to change professions." And I was like, yeah. He's telling the press, you might just want to go find a different job because following me around across the world is not the safest thing. But I want to get into some of the other comments he made aboard Air Force One, which we'll do when we get back. If you want to get in, 205-545-9950. It's the line, Talk 99.5. There's a live shot of Tyler Robinson, by the way. Freak. It's hard to believe we're so far removed from that day. Of course, you weren't here with us, but it happened during the show.
Yeah.
And it was just, I think maybe 1 or 2 minutes after it happened, we had gotten word about it. And Carrie, Inappropriate Carrie, was the one that brought it up. It was like 10 minutes before the end of the show. And we were, I think we were doing the Wheel of Segments and we weren't even finished yet. And so we stopped and he says, I'm getting reports that Charlie Kirk just got shot. And I'm like, oh, crap. I hope he's okay. And I pull up the video and I'm just like, oh, no.
You could tell.
He's like, he didn't
right
survive
away.
that. No, it was that bad. And as I stated before, like I have no interest in ever seeing that video again because it's hard to watch, man. But I just think about like how different things might be right now if Charlie were still alive, you know, because he was such a powerful voice for the MAGA movement and such a staunch supporter of Trump. And with some of the fractioning that you've seen over the past few months, which I think has tamped down a little bit, it all is based, for the most part, on Israel and the U.S.'s support for Israel. I often wonder where that issue would land if Charlie were still around, because he was getting to a point where he was questioning a lot of the things about our relationship. He was questioning October 7th and how that was allowed to happen. It seemed as if he did not believe that just organically happened, or it was just, you know, some dirty Islamist terrorist with some paragliding equipment able to infiltrate in that manner and slaughter so many people, that there was more to it, that it was almost like it was allowed to happen. And then on top of it, you've got accusations of, you know, Charlie was being almost bribed in a way with a lot of money. I think it's $150 million or something to Turning Point to have a particular point of view about Israel as he was out there questioning some things. And so, you know, I don't personally know if, you know, that you know, money offer actually happened or not, but it's, you know, all of that is, you know, kind of footnotes in the larger picture of what I'm talking about, which is, I do often wonder what it would be like today if Charlie were still here, you know, and what would the political landscape look like, and what kind of influence would Charlie have? Would Candace Owens be as crazy as she is now? And I say that in a way to where I don't always disagree with Candace Owens. I disagree with her on some things, and I think she's way out there in space at times. But, you know, just because I disagree with her on a handful of issues doesn't mean I have to disagree with everything she says. I wonder how she would be. Because you got to imagine the people that were closest to Charlie, that really messed them up, you know? I think it really...
And I know the doctor that was there that was friends with him.
Yeah.
That really messed him up. He talked a lot about
the
that.
people that were there, but also his friends that weren't there. I mean, it just absolutely had to have scrambled their brain in a way that they look at the world much differently than they did before Charlie was gone. But anyway, we'll get to that. They still haven't played the roommate testimony in court yet, but once they do that, we will absolutely bring that to you. If you want to get in, 205-545-9950. Back to Air Force One with Donald Trump, who was talking about several issues. Again, he was with a gaggle of reporters, and he was asked about the relationship with Europe and how the meetings went. And especially, well, they asked him, I believe this is how the question was framed, asked him about his comments talking about withdrawing troops from Europe. Remember, there was talk of Greenland and everything else, and how much of a strategic asset Greenland would be. Everybody knows all that by now. And he says, at the end of the day, I think whether or not we can acquire Greenland as a territory for national security reasons is going to dictate whether or not we even keep our soldiers and our troops in Europe to help protect them.
It was quite nice.
Sir, are you going to pull more U.S. troops out of Europe? And if so, how many and where specifically?
I haven't made that final determination. A lot's going to depend on Greenland, and a lot. I mean, we're going to make a very good deal on Greenland, and if we don't, maybe I will. And a lot's dependent on Iran. I mean, they want to help now. It's a little late to the thing, because essentially there's not that much fighting to be done. But some will depend on Iran. When they had a chance, an opportunity to help, they chose not to. So, but we're sort of forgetting about that. And now they want to help. They all want to go in. They want to help on Iran so badly, but we don't really need help. It's little things, but we don't really need help.
Yeah. He says it's going to depend on Greenland. They've already shown their true colors when we ask for help, because honestly, if European countries and NATO countries would have been all in on Operation Epic Fury, if they would have been all in on this conflict in Iran, not that they would have been a tremendous help, but I think it would have made a difference, even optically, for the Iranians, if they would have looked and saw, multiple different militaries in this operation. They might have said, you know what? We ain't got no other choice but to give up. Okay, I was looking further into the court case here, and remember that I was only able to hear what y'all were hearing, so I was trying to base it off of the judge's comments. It didn't have the full story, so I went and looked into it. I was trying to find the exact legal argument that the Kirk attorney was making, and what it is, and the reason they're going through that process is actually the Kirk family is wanting all the evidence presented and made public. And part of it is, according to their attorney, is to, stop the proliferation of conspiracy theories and everything else. So good for them to be pushing in an attempt to make sure it's all out there. Here's the actual quote from the attorney. It says at certain points throughout the preliminary hearing, the Kirk family sat in the room while evidence was admitted but not presented for their viewing. They were presented in body, yet denied the very thing their presence was meant to secure, their ability to meaningfully observe the preliminary hearing. In the absence of transparency, speculation, and conspiracy theories related to the tragic assassination of Mr. Kirk will continue to proliferate in the public domain, breeding doubt and distrust in the judicial system. So that's what's playing out. So it's up to the judge, obviously, to take those motions and make a ruling and present that stuff. So I guess that would probably mean that, you've got the Kirk side, which is wanting all the evidence out there, and the defense is likely trying to keep some of it out of the public eye, saying that it would damage or influence the jury in certain ways. If whatever their argument is, it's wild. But that's how it's playing out. So anyway, let's keep it going. And I'm going to come to the phone calls here in a second. 205-545-9950. Trump talking about Greenland, and you got to understand the importance of Greenland. And in these situations, I always encourage you guys to go look at a map like Google Earth or whatever, and see the position of some of these countries. I often did that with the Strait of Hormuz. I said, y'all get on there and look so you understand the geographical nature of what this is. And if you watch TV news or whatever, you've probably seen it 100 times as well. But when it comes to Greenland, and I'm looking at my map now, you can see it's just, east of Canada, basically, on the map. And it sits right between the U.S. and Europe, and also because of, the way the Earth is shaped in a globe fashion, it's also next to Russia. It kind of wraps around, if you will. And oddly enough, similarly close to China. And in that sense, Donald Trump wants to acquire Greenland so it can be our first line of defense. We're not looking to acquire Greenland and put a new Mar-a-Lago there or build Trump Tower. It would be a military installation almost. When you talk about things like the Golden Dome, you would want to put missile defense systems in Greenland in the event that anything ever popped off. It would be a tremendous national security advantage for the U.S. to be able to put military there and to not interrupt the lives of Greenlanders, to allow those people to continue doing what they do. And, of course, people have gone over there and interviewed locals, and they're like, no, we don't want the U.S. to take us over and blah, blah, blah. It's like, y'all, you ain't got nothing over there anyway. You're just sitting on a big block of ice. Like, if anything, it's probably going to help your economy. What are the Europeans doing for you? What are the Danish doing for you? Huh? Nothing at all. I was looking at some stats in Greenland and like their employment and unemployment and everything else, and they're not necessarily in the best shape. It would be extremely beneficial to them, but more importantly, it'd be beneficial to us and just bring an extra layer of security in what is turning into, as the world is turning into a different, we're entering a different era of warfare as well, with the advancements in technology and drones and everything else that we're battling against. And we're at the forefront of that, thankfully. But other countries are following suit as well, where tactics in war are completely changing in a way that we haven't seen in our lifetimes. You think about way back in the day when battle war tactics changed from, like, muskets to whatever came next. And then you had the emergence of, tanks and choppers and fighter jets. And it's just been a progression. And we're in one of those times where things are changing and the way people fight wars are changing. And so we got to stay on top of it. We got to take advantage of every single thing we can when it comes to our national security, because there's a lot of people out there that hate us. Bubba Rumble's on the line. Bubba, what's up, cuz?
Hey, now.
Hey, now.
Okay, I called to talk about Tyler Robinson, but real fast on Greenland. Trump ain't wrong from a strategic standpoint. It makes all the sense in the world. And why do we want to keep our assets over there in Europe with all those global homos who call us stupid Americans and hate us anyway? Pull our assets out there and let them deal with the Russians having the only arsenal for them to think about. How about that?
Yeah, they don't think they don't think a lot of us, and they don't think we're that important. Hell, Mclain the other day, a report came out that he was getting ready for a shooting war with the U.S. over Greenland. So it's like, well, obviously, if you think you're going to go to war with us, what are we doing over there anyway? And we need to pull our troops out because they're obviously in harm's way to the Frenchmen.
And Greenland has a lot of rare earth minerals and precious metals, and they got a lot of place to store our missiles, and we can put all our data centers there because it's nice and cold and they have lots of water.
That's right. That could be our new data center central.
Cover it with data centers, baby. So on this Tyler Robinson thing, one thing I haven't heard brought up in any of the official videos I've seen or anything on Discovery Phase here is, the conspiracy theory is that a 30-06 blows a massive exit wound and all that stuff. And traditionally it does if you're using the right kind of bullet, not the round. The cartridge is a 30-06, but I haven't heard what kind of bullet was fired out of that rifle, allegedly, because, see, over in California a few years ago, they banned traditional hunting rounds and everybody had to go to 100% copper bullets. And they're atrocious for hunting because the original, especially the first few batches of those that they were putting out on the market, they didn't expand. They had little to no expansion, even at yardage. So what was happening is, you'd get a good shot on your deer, but it would just blow a pinhole through it. That's the way we call it, burning a hole through your deer. So I'd like to hear what kind of bullet was fired out of that gun, because you also get kind of a similar effect if you're using military FMJ rounds. And since it was his grandpa's custom hunting rifle, I'd like to know if his grandpa had been maybe making up his own loads, as they call it, because a lot of hardcore guys with hardcore rifles do load their own bullets. But if it was 100% copper round, it really could have just made a pinhole.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that
it's just a possibility. I'm not throwing water on anybody's theories, you know what I mean? But I haven't heard anybody address that at all. And then the defense attorney was talking about a cartridge that was found on another roof somewhere that apparently a cop may have ejected that out of his gun, and it's been accounted for. So, there's a little water for the second shooter conspiracy theorists, because all conspiracy theories are valid in my world.
Yeah, we're very accepting. It's all are welcome.
I don't know if anybody's heard anything on the ballistic side of the 30-06 round. There are indeed rounds that are really poor as far as expansion goes. And at that distance that Tyler Robinson, the furry lover, was allegedly positioned at, I've seen that happen in real life in deer hunting situations. So anyway, I'll be waiting to hear something, but there's no clear concise proof on it yet, and then people like Candace Owens aren't helping anything, just spinning wild conspiracy theories for clicks, right?
Right. Yeah. There's I've seen a handful of them over the past 48 hours too that are way out there.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like, yeah, you got the right to do it, but like, let's and we can stay on this track of asking these questions or saying this and this and this doesn't make sense, but when you go that far out, and not necessarily Candace Owens, but anybody that's talking crazy stuff, it diminishes the ability to ask legitimate questions because all the concentration then gets put on you, and anybody that's got questions gets tied into your group as the crazies. So it's
you'd almost have to, I could issue a conspiracy theory here. Like, is the defense team somehow funneling some money to Candace Owens just to like salt the game with all her wild talk and everything, so they can declare a mistrial at some point? You know,
it's
possible.
Everything's possible.
She drugged Ben Shapiro back into it the past couple of days too. So now it's the Jews' fault too.
Oh, I haven't even seen that yet. I'm sure that's great.
All right, man. I'll let you get back to it, cuz. Later, dudes.
Hey now. Yeah, when it comes to ballistics, and that's the problem, there's a lot of people out there, and it sounds like Bubba's got some experience with this, but there's a lot of people out there that have zero experience with ballistics, and there's so many different things that can happen when it involves a firearm. From the different ammunition that you use, the angles from which you shoot at, the whatever. Like there's a million different things that can happen with each gun, with each bullet, and it's kind of unpredictable in a way that it allows people to go crazy with some stuff. And hell, I saw one. I think it was this morning that was talking about a palm pistol that shot lasers out or something, and it was somebody in the crowd that shot Charlie with some sort of secret palm pistol, like a Spider-Man deal. He was just like, and I'm like, come on, dude, let's not do that. Like, there's a lot of stuff out there that we could go with. I don't know that that's the one. I don't know that that's the route we can take, but. Anyway, Bubba's right on all those fronts, especially Greenland. Really need to get that taken care of. And the only reason that it's being treated as some sort of illegitimate issue is because it's Donald Trump. And we know that. This is something that is as old as time, acquiring territories. Because it hasn't been done in a long time, people are freaked out about it. They're like, oh, my God, I can't take over somebody's land and blah, blah, blah. Especially in the day and age of, native lands and this and that and politicians. Even at the Obama Center opening, whoever was it Valerie Jarrett that got up there and she's like, before we do this grand opening or, what do you call it? Consummate the building or whatever. We're going to honor and recognize the yada 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 tribe and the yada yada tribe that owned this land many years ago and blah blah blah. And I'm like, dude, come on. You should be more worried about one, the monstrosity that you just put up, and then two, the people that live around there that you just ruined their neighborhoods and took away their parks. But they're worried about recognizing. Listen, these tribes know how it is, man. Everybody's taking land from everybody back in the day, and it's just a matter of who's the strongest. Survival of the fittest, if you will. But because it hasn't been done in a long time, people are freaking out. But even if you look at the situation itself and how the world leaders are acting, that's actually fairly normal, because even back in the day, you would have hostility between leaders or governments when it comes to the prospect of taking over a land or making it a territory to a country that didn't previously have it. And so that's normal. That's to be expected. There's going to be some bickering back and forth, but that doesn't delegitimize our need to have it. So I'm all for it. I'm all in. Also, on Iran, the retaliatory strikes, we've got new video out of that. I want to talk about that and Trump's comments on Air Force One about Iran, all coming up next. Real quick, I want to show some love to. I'll drop my pen. There it is.
You got it?
Yeah.
There you go.
Show some love to work trucks, man. They got my put my brakes on yesterday. Got some new brake pads, boy. Those bad boys are like feeling good. Feeling good. They're not. I had this thing going on, and I knew it was time, and it was like when you start slowing down, you get a little shake to it. And I'm like, hey, that's not good. So I went by work trucks yesterday afternoon. Steven and TJ and all the guys over there got me squared away. Love me some work trucks, man. Those guys are the best. The best. The best. I love them. Okay, so the Pentagon released unclassified footage of the strikes against Iran. Yesterday, the report said we hit 80 targets. We actually hit 90 targets. So what's another 10 more military targets being obliterated. What's 10 military targets between friends, right?
Just a few extra.
Just a few extra. U.S. forces struck approximately 90 Iranian military targets, including air defense systems, coastal surveillance assets, missile and drone storage sites, naval capabilities, and military logistics infrastructure along Iran's coastline. And that's what I said yesterday. What needs to happen is anything military related in Iran, anything IRGC, I don't care if there's a regular car out there with an IRGC bumper sticker, blow it up and just say anything within a 10-mile radius of the Strait of Hormuz, if it's got military on it, if it's got anything that we think is military related or missiles or drones or mines or whatever, we're going to blow it up. We're going to blow it up. And then, hey, problem solved. That's what we should do. And it seems to be that they did a little bit of that a few days ago. Says the latest to strikes follow successful execution of offensive strikes in Iran the night before. CENTCOM forces hit approximately 80 Iranian military targets July 7th, including more than 60 Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps small boats to impose heavy costs for Iran violating the ceasefire by attacking commercial vessels navigating through the strait. U.S. forces remain vigilant, lethal, and prepared to execute operations directed by the commander-in-chief. So this is, okay, I'm trying to make sense of this. Is this 90 more strikes on top of the 80 from yesterday? Or are they saying 90 total? It may have been 90 total. It says they struck 90. No, it has 90 more. So that's, what is that, 170? 170 targets? Boy, we're getting after it.
There's got to be nothing left.
Because there's 90 from last night, from Wednesday night. Oh, no, I'm sorry. They released it, the footage last night. Okay, so I don't know. Maybe 90 is the total. But what's interesting, it says the forces hit approximately 80 targets on July 7th. So I don't know. It's probably 90 total. But still, that's the route you got to take. I mean, as far as the Strait of Hormuz goes, like that problem can be solved just by simply blowing everything up and within a 5-mile, 10-mile radius of the strait. That's it. And then once you get that secure, much like the blockade, just, continue to deal with the crazies. Trump also released footage of the strikes. These were much better because they were in color. When CENTCOM releases footage, it's always in black and white. It's actually from the
it
jets.
doesn't quite have the same oomph to it.
Yeah, but Trump released good video of targets being hit.
Yeah.
He told reporters on Wednesday while meeting with Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky that the U.S. is going to strike Iran again tonight after a wave of strikes on Tuesday. I'm not sure that they made any strikes last night, or maybe they did. There's just so much going on, it's hard to keep up with. Now, he made comments as I was talking about Air Force One. He made more comments. Do I have those? No, he said a bunch of stuff, which we'll get into. I don't have time to play it now, but I do want to talk about the funeral for the regime. We'll talk about it on the other side. Hour number 3 coming up next.